Hello, hello. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. How was the round table discussion? With a show of hands, or make some noise who thinks their round table was the absolute best. Give a cheer, room number one. Okay. Room number one, make some noise. Oh, are they yet to come? Room number two. Woo! And room number three. I don't hear anybody. That means they're not here. Because if they were, they would be making sound. All right, I see a lot of new faces as well. Thank you so much. A lot of new faces. Can you give a cheer? Hello. Fantastic. Hello, namaste, and the warmest welcome, ladies and gentlemen. The warmest welcome to Marketing Plus Media Alliance. India presents growth dialogues. Of course, today is going to be a dialogue. And yeah, so the legacy continues, but with a very, very new branding. How many of you have followed us on LinkedIn? So that means the people not raising their hands haven't. So for them, exclusively, there's a QR code right in front of you. I will take a side so that you can access the QR code absolutely seamlessly, the QR code that you see in front, requesting you to kindly scan. And of course, this takes you directly to our LinkedIn page. Follow Marketing Plus Media Alliance India page. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's call on stage. Oh, I see a lot of you scan. So this is very important. Mr. Rohit, we'll let them scan because this is leading to the LinkedIn page. So get done with that. And yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, we now move on to our very next segment, calling on stage a man who is a visionary, who is a collaborator, who is a leader. These are not three separate individuals, but one gentleman who possesses it all rolled into one. Let's give it up with a big round of applause. Let's have Mr. Rohit Dadwal, CEO, MMA, APAC, and Global Head of Smarties Worldwide, and board member Asia Pacific. Mr. Dadwal, stage is all yours. Thank you so much.
With technology. So I'll start again. Apologies for starting a little late. We do have a couple of roundtables that are still going on, but in the interest of time, respecting your time, we wanted to get started. So let me start by asking a question. How many of you have seen Jack Dorsey's tweet today? 1, 2. Okay. If you've not seen that tweet and if you've not heard that, this is not my presentation, this is not what I'm going to talk about, but I will start with that. Jack Dorsey, everybody knows who Jack Dorsey is, right? Pretty much. Founder of Square and Block. He tweeted, in one tweet, he has laid off 50% of his organization, which is 5,000 people. In one tweet. There's no official communication, there's no official mail, there's no cutting, saying sorry. He's not apologizing. He's saying this is the way of life. This is what it is. I could have done it over a period of 6 months. I could have done it over a period of 1 year, or I could have done it today. And the reality of business is that I've done it today. The reason why I state that is that this is the kind of times that we are in. And the reason why he has categorically and very eloquently said, if you go and read his message on the tweet, he has said, it is what it is. It is what the business is demanding. It is what the technology is enabling us to do. And therefore, I'm taking this decision to do it. And that technology, as we all know, is the elephant in the room, AI, right? Is enabling that. But there's an underlying message in that tweet and an underlying message in that layoff. And you have to really read it carefully. I read that email 3 times to decipher what I think is the underlying message. At one end, he has laid off 5,000 people. He has given them 20 weeks of benefits, 1 week of pay for every year they've completed, vested shares, etc. But he has also said most of them will be retained as consultants. This is the same Jack Dorsey who 3 months back had said, shape up or shape out. If you do not learn AI, it's going to be a problem. They have vetted their company. These layoffs would not have happened like overnight, right? So 3 months back, he said, shape up. We have to be all AI enablers. The people that are laid off, in my personal view, are the ones who did not shape up in the last 3 months. Now, why I say that is a lot of the work that we guys do today in our industry or across the industries is now largely dependent on AI. I don't want to start at a somber note, but that's the reality of life. We all, when I started work, it was Internet 1.0. Yahoo, AOL, CompuServe was the way to do business. We got to 2.0, we got to mobile, and you had to know how to use mobile to survive. And this is the third dynamic shift in the age of digital. So that's the opening comment that I had. But what I am going to talk to you about today is about MMA. MMA is Marketing and Media Alliance. All of you have heard MMA, I am assuming. You also know we are no longer called Mobile Marketing Association. Mobile is an element of being omnipresent everywhere. So it's all about marketing and media. And Alliance, I think, is more importantly from our perspective is the coming together of the two. And I think what is very important right now is the ability to lean into the future. The story I started with, Jack Dorsey, is a clear example of what the future is there, what future holds. The fact that they enabled this transition to happen, the layoff to happen, yet at the same time saying we are going to keep you as consultants, we are going to keep you at this, is actually helping lead that future or lean into that future. From our perspective at MMA, we strongly believe that future is going to be driven a lot by technology. And our purpose, our real purpose is to make sure we are able to create that value for our customer. Our customer, our primary customer is the marketer, the CMO organization, and the rest of the ecosystem. So our membership includes agencies, publishers, technology providers, etc. But serving one, which is the marketer. And the reason for that is, and we did this change about 5 years back, is the biggest challenge of adopting marketing and adopting these changes is actually to the advertiser. They have to understand how to do that. And not everybody has either the capabilities or the know-how or the experience to do it. It's not because they don't want to do it or they can't do it. The frameworks, the policies, the guidelines, the structures, the methodologies of the new world of advertising do not exist. They need to be built. Somebody has to do the painstaking work of building those frameworks, those methodologies. And that's where we believe as MMA, we play a very crucial role in helping build that. And that is the number one and the only charter that we have. That's global. At a country level, we are now a 100-member strong organization. We have that entire ecosystem very well represented. And that ecosystem reflects back into the organization the way we operate out of 4 broad pillars. So we have divided the world into 4 parts, the advertising and marketing ecosystem, which is MAT, which is the multi-touch attribution. Attribution has been a challenge in the past, is a challenge in the present, and is going to be a challenge in the future. Don't mistake that to be solved anytime soon. It has not been solved since 1994 when internet started. You expecting it some silver bullet to solve it is not going to happen. But it has morphed and it continues to morph. And that is what needs to be understood. That is what we are able to help put some structure, some frameworks of what the new measurements should be. How should you look at it? Where should you start? MOST is the organization structure think tank, which is really about if the world of advertising and marketing is changing and the actual activities are changing, what happens to the organizations? Should they not change? They also need to change. They also need to adapt. There used to be 72 capabilities in a marketing organization. Now they are 94. In 2 years' time, we are predicting there will be 112 capabilities a fully fledged marketing organization should have because of AI, Gen AI, Geo, and so on and so forth. These will continue to build. Who's working on establishing those capabilities or what those capabilities will be? How those structures will evolve? That's a focus for us. AI leadership think tank. I started with the Jack Dorsey AI impact, but AI is fundamental. We are working on measurement, media, responsible AI, and generative. Those are the 4 functions. And today, I can be very proud of saying that I do not think there's any other body around the world in advertising and marketing which has been able to prove the value of AI. The value, the growth value of AI. And I'll also pause here. You know what I get frustrated personally every time I get into a conference room or a meeting and somebody, a senior leader, asks me, how do you save money? How do you drive efficiency? How do you drive costs? I'm like, seriously? This is where you want to start with? You don't want to start with, how can AI drive growth for me? How can AI drive value for me? You are saving pennies for the big bucks. You want to save those $20 of efficiency, not look at the $200 that you can create wealth out of AI. And that's the mindset change. And I think that has been done primarily because when some of the AI platforms have established themselves, they have established themselves with that as the starting point. We are going to help productivity. We are going to help reduce efficiency or increase efficiency or reduce costs. And that is the narrative people have started building on. But really ask yourself, should you be looking at AI to reduce cost or to build value? How many of you start the discussion of AI or have done a discussion of AI to build value? Few of you. How many have started or had the discussion of saving costs? Most. Right? It's a balance. You need to have that balance. And that is very important for us to establish. And that's something that we are working on for our frameworks, etc. And data is the other think tank, which is about understanding what goes behind all of this. And data is a key component, and we have certain benchmarks. So in each of these, we call them the future labs. Under each of them, we have some certain experiments going on, which is brand as performance. What's the value of brand versus performance? That's the discussion industry on a whole or at a large is having. We are saying you have to move on from that discussion to saying brand as performance. It's not one versus the other. It has to be complement. We are also working on certain products where we are saying, how do you justify advertising from a ROI perspective? How do you get a seat on the table in the C-suite in front of the CFO? What are the metrics? Likes, shares are not metrics for a CFO. They are good storytelling for marketing industry. They don't believe in all of that. They don't value any of that. If you're going to go to the CFO talking about likes and shares, they are not. But that is, people in this room may not be doing it, but that's majority of the industry still doing it. how do you change that perception? How do you build an agenda which helps or is built on scientific models? And that is what we are working on. In all of those, these are certain programs. As I said, we have methodologies and frameworks. We've done 7 of those frameworks. When I say these frameworks, these are methodologies that we've invested millions of dollars building. We've worked with Harvard, MIT, professors, institutes, etc., saying, what is the future of advertising and marketing? What should you be doing? And these are some of those methodologies that we built. And each of the methodology has been put to test. We have partnered with advertisers from US, UK, Germany, Dubai, Vietnam, China, etc., and run some of these methodologies on actual live campaigns. And we have empirical data proven scientifically here. I don't know, all of you can read these numbers, but in CAPS, for example, which is the consortium of AI personalization, the use of AI for personalization, we've done 30 case studies. Insurance, FMCG, QSR, vertical, automobile, etc., etc. Across all the case studies on an existing campaign or the campaigns that we've done, we've shown with the same budget, if it was done in an A/B test environment, you have been able to get 137 to 250% better ROI using the technology and the methodology that we've adopted. With movable middle framework, which we've done, which is basically identifying your cohort, who's most likely to buy your product. We have on one side, we have a theory which says advertise to everybody. We know who said that, Bar and Sharp, right? Advertise to everybody, somebody will buy it. We are saying when you have the data, why do you not need to talk to everybody? Talk to the people, you have the data, you have the ability to fine tune that data and talk to the people who are most likely or likely to buy your products. And you can increase the efficiency of your marketing spends. And there, we've seen every campaign, 12 to 15 campaigns done, tested across, 50 to 100%. Increase in sales. These are not small numbers by any means. You know, a percentage increase in sale can impact the stock market price for big companies. On these campaigns, we've seen 50 to 100% increase in those numbers. Likewise, brand as performance, markups assessment, etc. All of this is available on MMA Global. You can go download reports, you can download these case studies. I just wanted to give you a quick flavor of the kind of work that MMA is doing, where we are, why we think we are in that leadership position. We are in the position to actually help lead the world of advertising and marketing and the efforts that we are putting together. What I'm going to do with you is, I do not have the time to go through all 7 frameworks, everything else. I'm going to share with you one framework over the next 5-7 minutes, which is CAPS, Consortium for AI Personalization. And share, this is part of the AI leadership think tank. MMGF is part of the multi-touch attribution. So every future lab has a framework, has certain programs that we run under it. What I'm going to share with you is, and tell about last night, this was not my number 1 priority to share. It was Jack Dorsey that made me change this today. His email and his tweet. I want to share AI today with you. I was actually planning to do MMGF, but we'll see if we have time. So, but before I do that, I do want to say, whatever we're doing at a global level, we're also implementing it at a country level. And that focus for us, we operate across all the countries in Latin America, Europe, Middle East, Africa, Asia Pacific. And for example, in India, our focus is to make sure that we are able to provide that capability, provide the value of AI, make sure that it's from literacy to efficiency to fluency, etc. All of that we are doing. Make sure that the local dynamics of the market, like retail media, is being addressed, if there are nuances for that, and the fluency of the dollar value that is happening. We are bucketed under the 3 buckets of capability, championing the AI narrative, and driving the adoption of all these frameworks, toolkits that we are developing. So global and regional, and local market. It's the same, but you have to work with the nuances at the market. And there are certain task forces. If you are not yet participating with MMA, I would encourage to reach out to somebody at MMA, talk to us which part of the ecosystem you want to participate with, which part of the leadership councils you want to participate. We have AI, MarTech, data and CX, and retail media. And we have access to all the frameworks, the global frameworks that we have. Even if you want to start understanding some of that, please do reach out. I think it will be valuable for you. What I'm going to share with you is Consortium for AI. It was a project we started 2.5 years, 3 years back, the year ChatGPT was launched. We had started this project 6 months before ChatGPT launched, actually. And the idea was, what will be the role of AI in personalization? Personalization has been the holy grail of advertising and marketing. Can you talk to the right person at the right time with the right message for the right intent and conversion? That's what we want. And AI can, we believe a part of AI can do it. Not whole of it, but part of it. And this is the journey that we all have been in advertising. It's a single message journey which we started with, and we've evolved that journey based on rule-based segmentation. Then we've done AI-based personalization on one channel, and this is where we will be headed to in the next 3 to 5 years. AI personalization on an omni-channel environment. So this gives you a very high-level overview of what the marketing journey has been in the past and how it is going to evolve. And everybody wants to get to this place, but you have to have the journey. What we've done is, we've mapped some of the advertisers, we've worked with some of the advertisers, and we've seen where the thought leaders or early adopters are versus the laggards and so on and so forth. And in this particular case, these were the few international brands that we worked with across different markets. Again, this was, as I said, 33 case studies done from markets like some in Asia Pacific, some in Africa, and so on and so forth. But the objective was to actually have a quality-based research, data and methodology that can help optimize the media and the creative. This is not something which gets discussed very often, optimizing media and creative at the same time for personalization. We've had the whole DCO, programmatic, etc. But when you take it to the next level, what does that mean? That means this. You are actually targeting a message using your creative in a cohort environment based on the different signals for a personalized message that can be sent to the consumer. This is an example of how AI creative personalization works, which is about finding your cohort, finding the opportunity, the timing, making sure you have the right image, right message, right creative for it, and that creative is generated by the AI. Now, when I say generated by AI, I want to be very clear when I explain that. It is not that the AI is doing the creative. You are providing AI the elements of the creative, the title, the image, the headline, which are all brand approved. It is putting all of that together based on the consumer. Where the consumer is coming from, what time, what relation, what context, and for what. And they put the 5 different elements of the creative together to send the right creative, which generates additional volume of advertising and is influenced on the different signals and devices, etc. And when it does that, it actually starts to learn the campaign. It starts to learn the consumers. But the first 10% of that, any campaign that you do, does not yield any results. Because AI needs to learn the campaign, needs to learn the media, needs to learn the creative, etc. And then it starts to adopt that process. Now, this is a methodology that we've worked on, we've tried it, and we've now proven it, that if you have AI, so we've done A/B testing on the same campaign running with AI and without AI. And this is the difference that you can see. From a map perspective, it's significant. We are looking at conversion trends and observation trends, which go as high as 50 to 100%. But what is important is the cumulative conversion trend when you start to add that cumulatively, it has a growth factor, which is a multiplication factor of to the tune of 10x, 10 to 20x. And that is what is important. So what we know, what we all know, we've been in digital all this while, are the different elements that can be. So we have tested this on display ads. We've done it on audio. We've done it on video. We've done it for web pages, web forms, app install, ticket sales, quote starts, apply starts, everything in the funnel. We've tried it with some brand or the other, with some element of advertising or the other. And we've built those learnings. What I'm going to share with you is a very quick high overview of some of those learnings. We did 2 studies with Kroger. Kroger is a e-commerce fast food, not fast food, grocery chain in US. We've done it with ADT, which is a security system, B2B, B2C, General Motors, which is automobile, Monday.com software, Shell, which is petrol, Progressive, which is insurance, MLB is league baseball, and Indeed. So you see the spectrum. We worked across the spectrum. We've done KPIs optimized from web page to web form submit, installs, app registration, ticket sales, and so on and so forth. But in each of the case study, what I would want you to keep an eye on is these results. There's a lift of 259%, 136%, 68%, 188%, and so on. Every case study, every campaign has yielded results which are far greater if AI was not to be part of the campaign. Now, this is the only message I would like to leave you with is, are you thinking of doing this? If not, please do. You don't have to do it with our partners, our methodology. You can do it if you have your own methodology. We have a methodology. We are not Accenture. We are not any of the technology companies that the methodology comes to you at $100,000 cost. It's available. You want to take it, apply it. What we want is adoption, because that is where the industry has to evolve. You can work with us. We can help you guide through this. And I'll give you one example of this particular campaign, which I personally find very satisfying and exciting. Is this was a campaign that we were doing for Shell. They were testing their creatives across different markets. This was done in UK on a Formula One theme for petrol. What we observed is they had a lift in surge in the impressions by 136%. And 536% increase in their voice and impressions. We were confused. Why 536% on one particular creative? One creative. They had 512 creatives. On that one creative of that driver, that was the surge. This is one particular campaign, one particular creative that we identified. We dug deep into it as to what happened. What we realized is, at 11 o'clock at night, Europe time, this driver actually met into an accident on the road. Not while driving Formula One, not while being on the circuit. Because he had an accident, the news spread and everything, AI picked it up. AI started mapping the creatives to every search, every information anybody was looking for on the internet to that creative. Context, redefined. We say context, right moment, micro moment. We talk about a lot of those things. Nobody humanly would have been able to do this. It would have taken time for people to build it. It did it on the fly. Thankfully, they had a picture and a creative with that particular person in the set of the 512 creatives. And it yielded results which helped them increase their sales and data by a phenomenal 133%. So the case for the creative variation is to be sure that you are able to build that channel, build the actual story to be able to address that micro moment, the cohort, the signal, and the context of the discussion. And creative, AI creative, again, it goes against what I started. We need to do the discussion on value and growth. But when we do the value growth discussion, it also leads into efficiency. And that's what it also helps do. But starting with efficiency, cost cutting, optimization, I think is the wrong point. If you go into a room and start the discussion of how I am going to save costs, will not help. How I am going to create value and show growth using AI will be far more positive and will help spin a much better scenario for us. So for us, we do believe that you are able to do this. We have the methodology in this particular case, can be adopted. You can expand on it. You can do it more than one campaign. You can do more than one set of creatives. In Kroger's case, I said they did 2 case studies. The first case study, they started with 72 creative sets based on 1,028 signals. The second one they did with 512 creative sets. And they got better results. So it does take time, it does take some commitment, but a full Gen AI capability built creatives is not likely to happen anytime soon. And there are various reasons for it. I don't think so it is the limitation of AI, but it's also the limitation of the rules, regulations, guardrails, responsible AI, trademark, IP, and so on. Not going to be resolved anytime soon, unless until you do what Apple did or Coca-Cola did for the Christmas campaign. They outrightly came up and said, this is an AI campaign for Coca-Cola. But that campaign also took time for them to vet it, trademarks, IP, and so on. So everything was very carefully designed within that also. But it will happen. Right now we are talking about doing a single channel, single asset based, but omni-channel and omni-channel different asset base is also possible. You can try and do that. Getting your hands dirty and starting a test and learn is really important. I think you should. Going back to MMA, MAT, MOST, DAT, and AI. Many frameworks, many guidelines, many practices. Results are there. We've proven it scientifically with empirical data that it can be done, and that is the future of advertising. We are helping it, enable it. We would like your participation to see if you would like to see how you can take some of these learnings and make it part of your business. Thank you so much for your time. I know it wasn't meant to be that long, but I started with the first 5 minutes with Jack Dorsey, so I got swayed. But thank you so much. I hope there was something that you can take away from here. Thank you.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Mr. Rohit Dadwal. Sir, when experience talks, you listen with ears wide open. How amazing was that? And to all our leaders, the new set of faces that we see right now, just to give you context, right before, since the afternoon, what MMA India has been doing is curate an experience wherein we have a selective set of marketing visionaries have their roundtable conversation. So it was closed door, but we at MMA India are absolutely generous, and we now invite certain set of leaders to come on up and share insights from the roundtable discussions that they were happening. Starting off with Double Verify Roundtable. Leaders, as and when I take your name, requesting you to kindly come on up, starting off with Mr. Sameer Karpe and Mr. Jahid Ahmad. So requesting these 2 gentlemen to please come on up. And there was a closed-door discussion happening. We'd love for you to share the cream of the cream insights for everyone to learn from. Thank you.